Ring ring. No. Stop harassing me. Ring ring ring. Hello, pimps and vegans, and welcome back to Krown's magical, sexy, and seductive.
God damn it. Hey, welcome back to the Krown Crypto channel. I see, speaking of vegans, we got Mr. Jason Bazzino in the house right now. What's up, man? Good morning to you, brother. And there he is. Definitely go check him out. Another big content producer in the crypto space, and actually just, a level-headed analysis typically going, which is very difficult to find in this space. Anyways, there are a few big things to be speaking about today. A couple things that I actually forgot that were big time yesterday to do with Tether dominance, and of course Dixie as well, that we're going to kind of fit into the analysis. But I suppose that we could get to that today and then cover up on the short-term time frame as well. We got that pullback that we're looking for, maybe a little bit deeper than we were looking for as well, a little bit past that $41,000 region, however, on a closing basis, right around there. So with that in mind, what does that essentially align with the next this next few days to come, and realistically the next week to come? Well, yes, vegans indeed, man. Get them! Fucking get them, baby! Anyways, I am uncaffeinated for the first time on a live stream since like a year ago, man. It's been a very long time, so we'll see how far we get into this one. But I expect that now is a good time to kind of test the waters because things are slow, no one's paying attention, and it's all good, man. It's all fucking good. So with that in mind, I'm on day number 4 or 5 now of day number 5 actually of no caffeine. And honestly, I woke up this morning and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad at all. Went down the street, things were smelling like they're smelling different. They're smelling different. Maybe that's just a switch up to spring over here. I see a lot of familiar faces as well. Mr. Rocky G, Elsa, Nikki Page, and who else do we have? Hey, what's up, African Crypto Warlord? Good to see you, brother. Good to fucking see you, man. And our lovely moderator crew, our lovely fucking moderator crew, and then a lot of familiar faces in the chats as well. DNA, Shane Wilson, Stephen Carpenter, Crypto Carpenter. Wait, what the fuck? Hey, what the hell's going on right here? Crypto Carpenter and then Stephen Carpenter. What the actual hell is this, man? Are you multiplying yourself? What's going on right there? And they're right next to each other too. What's up, Bricky? We'll get to that soon enough, man. Moose Yacht Club. Good morning to you as well, man. Received my moose, so I'm very happy about that. Don't know what to do with it, but doesn't fucking matter, man. They're NFTs. Will Charles. Good morning to you as well, man. Joe A. Stephen Conway, and it rhymes. This is a great morning, man. This is a fucking great morning. Everything's flowing. It's flowing like my fucking coffee, my non-caffeine speech. What's up, Matador MC? And all right, man, we'll get into it right now. Good morning to you as well, Mr. Crypto the Kid. There he is. All right, cool. Yeah, let's jump into it right here. We're actually not going to start off with the Krown Chain application. I saw a few questions earlier regarding the sale and whatnot that we're going on. Understand that that's ended. That ended at like 00 UTC. So apologies for that. But if you have any questions, just email Elsa and bother her because that's her job, and and she'll take care of whatever the hell you might be wondering about. Anyways, do I want to reference anything in here before we get into it? Yeah, I do actually want to point out that the funding rates right now have been consistently positive for the past day or so. More important on the hourly data feed right here, it is actually approaching, or actually was just around 0.01%. Now it came down in this new hour as we just ticked 14 minutes ago, 0.06%. Of course, these are extremely minuscule numbers. They are not anything like to be super concerned about. But as Bitcoin does, kind of hesitate around this $42,500 region high, that does become a little bit more of an interesting point for myself, looking at it as well. Hey, if funding rates, if financing essentially is going to be at parity, what you kind of expect when markets are more or less neutral and in contango. Well, we do, that does kind of maybe align with a little bit more of a short-term look as sideways in this case, maybe a little bit of downside as well. Anyways, we're going to get into that soon enough. What I want to get into right now is actually going to be the chart of the day, the content of the day. And here we go with Bitcoin's chart of the day. It's actually not a chart of just Bitcoin. It's a chart of Tether dominance versus Bitcoin. And what I wanted to point out here on the monthly, or we could just go to a weekly as well, is that over the long period of time, these have been playing opposite of each other. There is one period where this was not true, that's starting in March 2020 all the way to the highs of October 2020, before Bitcoin essentially broke its prior all-time high, leading into that last major run, that absolutely biblical epic run right there. But ultimately, that was more or less fundamentally driven due to the overall situation, right? With the monetary, with with the way that monetary policy was essentially evolving out of the Rona dump right there. Other than that, they have been essentially opposite of each other, playing opposite of each other on the macro, which I think does hold a lot of weight. And it's been very, very consistent, especially in the past year and a half here. So I wanted to point out this that I'm kind of looking at to kind of get a bit of a bias on this more like weekly look for Bitcoin. So I'm going to take Bitcoin's paying off there, and we're just gonna focus on the US dollar, the Tether dominance chart right here, which I'm gonna put back onto a dildo format, put on my moving average. Oops, yes, I want my moving average right there. And in the short term right here, we actually are looking at a bit of a rejection right around the 482 high. Now, we spoke about this in the past month as a very, very relevant region to be looking for a pullback from. I believe we're about to get that pullback in the coming week or two. With that in mind, where would pullback targets be? Very, very likely 3.95%, and then probably more likely 3.60%. Problem is, and why I'm highlighting this in advance here, hopefully well in advance, or at least in advance enough, is that as long as it is above 360, I still do look at this as a rather constructive formation and another higher low in the making here long term. So do be aware of that. But in the short term, in the very, very short term, I actually do expect one more try to the upside. But in the medium term, let's say, I'm looking for this one to come down. So that likely does correlate with Bitcoin upside price action. The question is, will Bitcoin be able to get above any one of the critical regions that we kind of been speaking about, namely $44,500 or $45,000, depending upon which time frame you might be using in this case? If it does, then that's really going to change around the macro view of this and probably going to front run an actual break of this reach right here with another major test much, much lower, which is probably going to imply Bitcoin, working its way up into the mid $50,000 territory. But if we do start to see higher lows within this region, that would be the setup that I'm looking for essentially the other side, for that 45% move to be applied not to the upside but to the downside, somewhere down around about 22 to 23,000 bucks in this case. So I do think that this holds quite a fair bit of weight right here. If we bring up momentum oscillators, I don't think that they really I really don't think that they mean too much on an asset like this, but maybe if we go down to a daily, there'll be something obvious because I don't necessarily see it on a weekly. And yeah, on the daily, again, short term, I do think that actually tries maybe ever so slightly back up to about 4.5%, just playing out this short term hidden bullish evidence right here. This is not a strong this is not a strong drive right there. Those typically do get rejected, but they do play at a move somewhere in the median of the range, which would be like 450 to 455 or so. And then, of course, volatility very, very low right here. So if we do get another rejection, basically anywhere below about 460, or in this case, about 469, actually, sorry, I misjudged that one. I would be looking at that as your first lower high before that move down. And that probably does time the next major move in Bitcoin and, by extension, the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So that's something that I'm kind of keeping a keen eye on right now. And what I'll do from here is I want to get rid of this, and we're going to go look at CME price action, because this is what we're kind of looking at in the past, over the past week, and I was saying, hey, Bitcoin likely to pull back down somewhere around $41,000 on a closing base. Looks like we've gotten that in the early morning hours. A wick down all the way to about 40,550, it looks like. But ultimately, this is why I operate on closing base Cs. So here's the thing. If I am looking at Bitcoin as quote unquote bullish, I am expecting sideways and up from here. Very likely to come back up and fill the gap somewhere around about 41.9, 42,000 bucks, and then game on from there. Remember, the medium-term time frame analysis still is more or less unchanged here, as long as Bitcoin's below that last lower high, in this case about 42,600 on a closing basis, that being a 4 hour. I don't look at this as resolved, meaning that there are no available targets back up to basically the prior range highs, which is about $44,000 to $45,000, which is kind of a significant move from there, 2,000 to 3,000 bucks essentially. And by contrast to the downside, I look at anything as more or lless fine as long as Bitcoin's above specifically about 39,900 on an hourly closure, or about 40,000 even on a 4 hour closure. As long as as long as one of those two conditions is met, I do look at this as, Bitcoin likely going to give another try to the upside. And then we get to roll from there. Here's the thing, though. I do think that there are a couple of concerning things to kind of reference the title of today's video. And we'll point them out right after this next point, because I wanted to make sure that I get to this, because I forgot to postulate this on yesterday's video. But this is a chart of Dixie, the dollar index. And we are getting the pullback that we were looking for based off of the hit target on that measured move from this was like half a year ago, but hey, it does happen over time. It just moves slow like molasses in this case. And in the very short-term timeframes for Dixie, which typically does play a little bit opposite of Bitcoin, and I really don't like using anything less than a daily in this case. I think that that's really starting to split hairs, but I would be looking for this one to give another try back up somewhere around about 98.85 to 98.90ish region, and that's where I'd be expecting that next rejection if this one is going to come down and play out that move to about 97 or so, which is where I'm kind of looking for it to come towards. And again, that would be just like the Tether dominance chart, another compounding factor that would, be suggesting that we're more likely to see another try to the upside on Bitcoin and by extension the rest of the cryptocurrency market than not. But still, short term, it probably does get another chance here. So keep your eyes on that region, because if it does start to close above that region, especially on a daily, well, at that point, I mean, I'll probably have to extend the target at least to $100 and then come back to it after that, which is probably going to, affect Bitcoin and the rest, opposite. Anyways, bless you, sir. And of course, assuming that there isn't a rejection, basically anywhere below 99 bucks, I'm looking for this one to come down to about 97 or so before the next bounce, and that likely does bode well for the cryptocurrency market. Anyways, in this case, I'm going to go back to Bitcoin over here, and let's talk about the next few things. Of course, while I didn't necessarily go over the downside just yet, let's actually go to it right here. The downside, if validated, which again would be below 39.9 on an hourly or 40,000 on a 4-hour, I actually would be looking at that as the confirmation that well, not only do we have another lower high right here, but this is a downtrend. We have lower lows and lower highs. I would be looking for Bitcoin to come down next to $39,000 for a short-term bounce. Nothing really more than a short-term bounce, to be quite honest with you. Might even test back around 40,000 bucks again. But ultimately, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to come back down to 37 to 37,500 right here, this blue box territory. The reason why that is very, very relevant, and while I'm calling this at one out, even though it's it's very far away from happening, but I do want to be on the books as talking about this, is that if Bitcoin does come back down around there, it puts it in a very precarious place, of which I would say that is where I really start to look at this as one massive redistribution, actually. One massive redistribution, which would be confirmed with a daily closure, specifically below $37,000. I'd even go as far as saying that below 37.5 is probably bad enough. And even if we get like a 4-hour closure below 40,000, again, I am looking for that move to come down around there. So it would put Bitcoin, in a posturing to actually break it, but just like we had it over here with a posture to break the upside, until you actually, confirm that breakout, it's still just that. So I would still, be a little bit hesitative in that case, but keep in mind, we're coming to the end of the month here, and there are several things postured right around that $37,000 region that, as we spoke about yesterday, would indicate an extremely high probability of a move down to 23,000 ish, bucks within the following months. Of course, there's going to be bounces along the way, obviously, but until then, the Bulas still have the ball in their court, and that is all contingent upon short-term Bitcoin closing a 4-hour dildo back above 42,600. Again, be getting targets back up to the top side of this range, and that puts Bitcoin in the in the precarious place for the Bulas there to play out that move off of the measured move of what would be an ascending triangle right here, which does have a technical target up to $56,000, also in line with 3.272's Fibonacci extension. Thus confirming several things along the way. I actually was just perusing around the charts this morning and did notice that on the 3-week chart, again, you can always find a chart or a time frame that's going to confirm your beliefs, right? Or approve some. But in this case, I do think that it is somewhat interesting right here, as Bitcoin on the 3-week chart, if it does confirm above that 44,000 or so level on a higher term time frame like this, we actually will have a pretty significant drive of hidden bullish evidence come off this low right here. Also rejection of the neutral zone, thus, be getting very likely another test into the bullish control zone. And that does have a technical target first towards 52, and then second would be about 57 to 58 or so. So, a lot of things are really at stake here that I do think are going to be resolved probably around the end of this month. So perhaps in like the latter half of this week is where things start to accelerate a little bit more. But as I've been saying for the past couple weeks, and I guess now it's kind of coming to fruition, more or less sideways is still kind of the name of the game for the short term right now. Anyways, what else did I want to get on over to here? Do I want to show off the 5-day chart? I think I'll just briefly go to it. Just to remind, but I don't want to go deep into this one. I've done it so many goddamn times in this past couple weeks that I think it's probably just getting annoying for the people who are regulars here. But basically, 5-day, God damn it. No, I just destroyed my chart. How could I possibly do that? There we go. 5-day volatility versus momentum. Basically, what I'm looking at right here is that 5-day BBWP representing volatility has, in the past few years here, actually on average signaled about a more like a 45% move based off of getting into the teens, as you can see right here. We've seen several iterations just in the past year, actually, that really actually fit the bill in this case, and those all do correlate with this chart right here. playing out those 45%-ish moves over the course of, on average, about 40 days. Obviously coming both to the upside and the downside. And what has been a great help in kind of designating where those moves are likely to go towards, or the probability of those moves, where they're likely to move towards, is the 5-day stochastic momentum over here, of which, the reason why I'm pointing this out is that we do see it is actually headed to the upside as of the last couple ticks, and will be remaining to the upside. Very key point right here, as long as Bitcoin's above $37,000. Also getting out of the bearish control zone, equally as important, just like what we saw over the summer as well, in that case off of the July bear trap. But the reason why I'm pointing this out is because right now, that is obviously in the Bulaw's favors, and I do think that holds quite a fair bit of weight, but will be negated and will turn into a very massively bearish thing below $37,000. So do you understand kind of the order operations, at least in the way I'm kind of looking at these things right now? Obviously, you at the end of the day decide for yourself what is relevant towards your own, trading plan and proclivities and whatnot. But until then, I think it would be relevant to maybe go over some of our stochastic momentum oscillators over here on our medium and higher term timeframes, because the daily, thus speaking towards the relevancy of the $40,000 region on CME specifically. Again, CME on Monday and Tuesday, I just find the signals, they work better. They have higher efficacy. Will be upwards postured and actually freshly crossing the upside as long as Bitcoin remains above 40,100. So basically that $40,000 level on a daily closure. So again, another thing that's kind of coming in alignment right at that region that does speak towards the significance of it. And this is a very potent signal right here as well for the next sort of expansion on this volatility. Look at the daily HVP represented by this line. Very fucking low. We haven't seen it this low since like early January on that last massive move to the downside, actually. And of course, ADX is also equally as low here too, very, very severe. And then we also do see that the DMI is getting its first positive flip basically since February rally. So that is significant. And again, it does increase the probabilities that this does get, we see the expansion phase to the upside, but I still want to see the HVP really actually start to get a positive slope there. Right now, we don't necessarily have it, as well as the ADX. And my favorite indicator for volatility, of course, is going to be the BBWP. This is actually suggesting that, well, the moving average is getting a positive slope, but this is not expansion just yet. Actually still says that we're probably ranging for now. If we go to CME BBWP, it's certainly still contracting right here. So I'm probably looking at this, likely to contract a little bit more. I don't think that Bitcoin's going to have like a major movement today or tomorrow, for example. I think that we're still waiting. I think that we're still fucking waiting, man. So do keep that in mind, despite all of the, crazy titles and whatnot. This is quite literally a non-emergency warning. It's a non-emergency warning of, of what very likely comes to pass, but it ain't there just yet. And in the short term, I think that we're more or less just looking at more sideways here. Sideways for the Bulaws is good between about 42.5 and 40,000 even. For the bear odds, it's going to be great below about 40,000 bucks. Now, I wanted to point this out as well as just the last sort of point in this whole long-term rambling is going to be over here on Ethereum. Ethereum's actually done something that is somewhat concerning right here, actually. Ethereum still operating on lower highs, I do believe. Let me just double check on this one. I'm using the buy daily, by the way. We have extremely low volatility, so we're looking for a move, probably around end of this week, maybe early next week. And in this case, let me just double check. Okay, 29.49 closure versus 29.79. Yeah, sorry, 76. So yeah, we do have technically still lower highs in play. And we would have technically hidden bearish divergence if it does confirm a lower high right here. How would you confirm a lower high? Well, just like Bitcoin, I wouldn't really confirm a high until it's back below about 40,000 bucks on those closing bases that we spoke about. For Ethereum, I would say a daily closure below about 27.50 would do it for me. Until then, I think that the Bulaws have a bit of a chance here, but yeah, I mean that they have a bit of a chance here. So do keep that number in mind, because if that does happen, then we would not just have our third lower high and about the same lows right here. We'd also confirm hidden bearish divergence plus extremely low volatility. That's a setup that I'd be looking for, for things to come really to come hard down. Come down hard? Come hard down. Come hard down. Come down hard. I think it's come down hard. Anyways, it doesn't matter, man. You get what the fuck I'm saying right now. Until then, I do think that the Bulaws again have the ball in their court, and the probabilities are on the favor of the Bulaws side based off of mostly what we saw on Bitcoin on that 5-day signal over there, until proven otherwise. And also for the 2-day Ethereum, Jewel, we do see that it does have a decent signal right here. Obviously, this one started a little bit ago in middle of March and is supported by DMI as as well. So, for what it's worth, a few more things in the court of the boo laws right there. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for right now. For Ethereum, if you saw any sort of a weekly closure above like 3,100, that would be really, 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 really good. I'd be looking for big moves up towards 38 to 4,000 in the following weeks if that were to happen. But for right now, I just think Bitcoin, as usual, is the easier chart to be watching. And well, that's basically all that she wrote for that. And to be fair, I mean, Bitcoin actually could very easily put in a drive of hidden bullish evidence right here, as long as it does kind of base off of the 40,600-ish region. So, the short term, I do see that there are a few things relevant right there as well. In fact, we probably should go through the short term stochastic momentum over here as well, just to see. 12-hour will turn down below 40,850. Okay, that would be a little bit concerning. 6-hour will turn up above 41.3, so definitely down signal for now. 4-hour is also down signal below 41.5, not good. And 3-hour is below 41.3. Bi-hourly is below about 42. Okay, so really building up there. And hourly is down as long as we're below about 41.5 or so. So I'd go as far as saying that, back above about 41.5, 41.6 on an hourly closure. That's when I really start to confirm this as a, as a local low. That's a higher low. That's confirming hidden bullish divergence, and probably another try up towards 42.5 or so. And then everyone gets to hold their breath, I suppose. Anyways, that is going to be it for Bitcoin right now. We got the pullback that we're looking for. Now a bit of a range, and hopefully for the boo law's sake, a bit of a higher low right there. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful, and there you go, sirs and zers. Lovely. Okay, cool. All right, girls can bust too, says Big Boy George. Can they? Girls gonna bust? Gonna do some busting action? Like, could you imagine that if a girl said to you, "Hey man, ready to bust"? It's like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Did you say you're gonna bust? That's not what girls do. But then again, girls also can swim quite well as well now, can't they? And men can give birth. That's right, man. I'm gonna give birth to a nice food baby soon enough. Anyways, let me drink a little bit of this water, and we will get on into some comments. Mac Douglas says, Krown, are you still going to auction the sauna towel you sit on eBay? The problem is if I auction that shit off, I will be indicted for murder or something, because it doesn't smell good. And how do I know that? Because I do smell them, and because I just want to know. I just want to know what like days old sweat just soaking into these little sauna pads smells like, and it ain't good, as you'd probably imagine. But you always have to confirm firsthand, right? Need to see it firsthand, otherwise it ain't true. That's how today's world works. Anyways, Ricky O says Ethereum USD 4-hour daily weekly can also reference Ethereum Bitcoin too. Okay. Let's actually start off with Ethereum Bitcoin here. I thought that this chart was actually somewhat a little bit more interesting, and holy moly, man, it looks like, yeah, we did get our move down to 6.4 million Satoshis, but I was wrong on it continuing from there. So I think I'm actually about to get bullish on this. In fact, yeah, I think I am going to get bullish. I'm going to get bullish exactly from here on this. This is quite the setup, in fact. Here we have Ethereum versus the Bitcoin pair, and we'll go over the US dollar pairing soon enough. But Ethereum Bitcoin is actually starting to do something really, 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 really important over here. It's actually starting to put in a major low. We do have several things that you would expect on a major low, thus the multiple drives of hidden bullish divergence right here on extremely low volatility. Now, of course, we still want to see that turn up alongside continuation, but ultimately that combined with the weekly jewel, which, this being a rather high term time frame, does, hold quite a fair bit of weight, losing its downside posturing, and even, maybe even getting an upside signal, maybe at the end of this week, probably not right now though, would very likely beget targets back up to about 7.5 million Satoshis, at least for the, I wouldn't say short term relative to the weekly. So that'd be in the next few weeks. And then maybe more long term, looking at about 8 million Satoshis if that does hold true. Problem is that I still look at the monthly over here, and I'm not necessarily fully convinced. I do still think that, if it does want to play at a downside move, I'm looking somewhere down around about 5.7 million Satoshis. But I think my prior analysis on this one likely putting in another lower high right here, and then having continuation lower is going to be wrong. So I do want to get this one out as soon as the data comes in, and I think that's actually what we're seeing right here. So I should put up an invalidation for that, and in this case, it's going to be 6.8 million satoshis. As long as we are, because I'm not Ethereum Bitcoin, but as long as Ethereum Bitcoin is above that, that major level, I do look for this one to trade sideways and up outside of this range, with the next short-term targets probably later this week, somewhere around about 7.25 million satoshis. Not bad at all right there, especially as we see volatility lift off the lows and momentum also pointed up north. The daily Jewel actually got this one a lot better in this case. And it still remained with upside momentum. So I'd probably be looking for a pullback somewhere around that region, 7.25 million satoshis, but that's going to really start to look good for the weekly. So with that said, I'm actually, I think I flip around right here. This is pretty damn good. Anyways, lower term timeframes, I don't know if you happen to care about them, but it does look like we have another higher low right here. I'm looking for short-term continuation back up around that 707 million high or so, maybe even another drive a little bit higher than that towards, what would it be? I guess it'd be somewhere right around about 7.15 million satoshis in this case. Not bad at all, actually. I think we're seeing the reversal right now. So that is, quite good for Ethereum Bitcoin. Anyways, go look at Ethereum USD. We just briefly touched on it in the main video that we did for Bitcoin, but that's okay. We can go a little bit more in depth over here for Ethereum USD. And as you can see on the 4 hour right here, not exactly the same sort of setup that we have going on. It does have the same sort of potential hidden bullish divergence between this low right here and this lows that are seemingly being constructed, but that will not be confirmed as a local low, thus be getting that hidden bullish divergence until Ethereum, I keep on almost saying Bitcoin, but until Ethereum closes at a 4 hour above about 28.90 or so. Could we do this on an hourly as well? Yeah, we could do this on an hourly, and I would say it's 2,900 even, a little bit easier on that case as well. And at that point, I would be looking for a short-term target to be initiated towards 2,950 to just under 3,000 actually. So not bad at all. Let's go over here to a daily. I would express extreme caution, however, on the daily, and I think it even shows up a little bit better on the 2-day with any sort of a higher time frame closure below 2750, or if you want to be super exact, it'd be 2765 in this case. If that were to happen, that would confirm this as your next lower high, thus confirming another drive of hidden bearish evidence right here. Again, all on extremely low volatility. So of course that's not happening right now, but if you do see that breakdown happen, and if you do see higher term timeframes close below there, I'd be looking for the next move down to your lows from early March, basically, which is like 2,500 or so, and probably sets it up for a long-term breakdown, to be quite honest with you, into the upper 1,000s. But for right now, the weekly on Ethereum USD, a few good signals right here. We see weekly regular bullish divergence come off the lows, so not bad right there. Weekly Jewel is actually getting an upside signature. I want to see that supported by DMI, but one thing before the next, obviously. And again, same thing here. I'm seeing that weekly volatility is still contracting, so we're probably going to see at least another week of range. And in this case, the range to the upside is going to be like 3,150 to 3,200, and to the downside is going to be more like 2,750 or so. So I'm not looking for a breakout just yet on the higher term timeframes, but the Bulas do have a few more, good things going for them. Let's go check it out over here from stochastic momentum. Just want to see where things are at right now, especially on the higher term timeframes. Daily stochastic momentum remains to the upside as long as Ethereum's above 2,750, so not too helpful for right now, $100 below. 2-day shows 2,550, and weekly, where are we at right there? Freshly crossing up actually, as long as Ethereum's above 2,564. So not bad right there. I'm looking for another short-term move, probably another short-term move to the upside, and then see if it can actually take out those critical regions. On a daily, critical region would basically be like 30, 50, whatever this local high was here on the 1st of March. So hopefully that was helpful, and there you go for Ethereum, sir. Nice. Actually, I forgot to do the same thing on Bitcoin. What is the weekly DMI flip at now? $45,000 on CME, and spot is 47,576. Okay, so still actually quite far away there. Still a little bit further away. Anyways, we'll go back on over here and I'll see what the next one is. Steve Green Comedy. What's up, man? Are you a comedian? Yeah, definitely. You have a microphone in front of your hand. Hello, sirs. Hello, sir. How is Woo looking to you? Woo. Based off its name, probably shitty, but we can look at the chart, I guess. It's only been around for a couple months, it looks like. Maybe there's another exchange that has more history, hopefully. Here we go, KuCoin. You can always trust on KuCoin to list your shitcoin needs, right? honestly, no. Look, how does it look to me? Fucking awful, man. It only goes down. Like it only ever knows what a downtrend is. This is hot garbage is what it looks like to me, to be quite honest with you. See, the problem is that if Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the more stronger coins reverse here, I don't expect this one is going to, follow as much. Already looking like it actually wants to kind of confirm another lower high right here, which would actually have another drive of hidden bearish divergence, which would have targets back down towards 45, 46 cents or so. But that won't be confirmed until I do see a daily closure below about like 52 cents, it looks like. Until then, if Bitcoin continues its upside move, I expect this one to probably give another try up somewhere around about 73 cents or so. Anyways, I don't really know what time frame you're going off of here because you didn't really specify, but short term, I actually look for this one to play out a move down to 53 cents. Honestly, if I'm just looking at this one, I'm looking for this one to come back down. This looks like shit. If I go to a weekly, maybe doesn't look as shitty, but again, I just don't expect it to follow that much if Bitcoin tries the upside. I think best it does the upside is low 70 cents or so, and then likely another lower high. Man, this is not, yeah, this is certainly not chart of the day. But I don't know, where am I going to confirm this one as as another lower high? I think I said 52 cents earlier. I guess I'd have to stick with that, which feels like I'd be waiting a little bit too long. Monthly, not. This is just garbage chart right here. The question is like, where does your next fucking lower high come in? It's basically what I'm coming to based off the higher term time frames. It's either right here or it's coming a little bit higher, somewhere around the low 70s or so. I think that's kind of best case scenario for this thing. This does not look good, man. But it go down. But I should feel compelled to say that, hey, if Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big names continue with their upside movements, should expect that next upside movement on this one as well. I don't really should I have a validation for upside movement or upside continuation? I guess you could use 64 cents, but I don't think that's too helpful. I honestly think it's just easier to watch Bitcoin in this case. Let's see. Chris DC says Luna on the daily. Okay, Luna on the daily. Let's see. Good. Really, really good, actually. Here we have Terra Luna symbol LUNA versus the dollar, and we have one of the better charts of the day, actually, probably the best chart of the day. Putting in yet again another higher low right here at the 86.25 dollar pullback. We do have another drive of hidden bullish divergence right here, and getting back above the exponential and working its way into the bullish control zone. And the daily jewel is also getting upside momentum and is supported by DMI. And this is all on extremely low volatility, which if we see the BBWP start to get a positive slope back above the moving average and expand from this region, I'd expect a macro breakout here, actually. So what would, as far as price action goes, confirm a macro breakout on a closing base for the daily 102, and at that point, this one's going to have short-term targets and long-term targets here. Let's see what they look like. So we have a bit of an ascending triangle right here. So we do have a technical target off of that. That would be up towards 128 to 128.5. Let me see if that lines up with any major fibs. Probably does. And what do you know? The one spot 414 right there, which is a good natural target for like the first push up after a breakout in this case. But I wouldn't expect things to stop there, honestly. I'd expect things to actually trade much higher if you do get that next validation above that region. And in fact, I'd be using this whole range right here. See if that matches up with anything as well. And what do you know? The 2 spot 618 about 193. 190 to 200 bucks is kind of what I'd be saying if you start to get that validation. Obviously, it's going to come with contingencies on the other side. This setup would be absolutely disparaged below about 81.5 on a daily closure, be getting targets back down somewhere around like 69 to low 70s or so. But for right now, I look at this one as more likely to try the upside. This actually bodes quite well. Let's go see what stochastic momentum says. I'm just curious if like the higher term timeframes are showing any really obvious signatures right here. The weekly is not just a rejection of the bearish control zone, which I believe we identified last week or the week before, but it will be remaining with upside momentum as long as this one's closing above 55 bucks, which is almost a 50% move from where you're currently at. Kind of crazy. 5 days, obviously way up there as well, 60 bucks. What about daily? Daily is freshly crossing up above $92, which you're currently trading more than $2 above on $100 name, which is kind of a big deal. 12-hour vertical, 4-hour will freshly cross up above 94. Hourly is going to be vertical as well. So a little bit more extended in the short-term timeframes, but I do think that you have one more short-term move to the upside, maybe like 97 to 98 bucks, probably another short-term pullback right there. Big long-term areas again coming in right around 102, a buck 02 right there. Very, 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 very important. Be getting, humongous, what I would expect humongous targets in the following months after that. First target be about 126-ish. Let's just say 125 or so, give or take a few bucks from that. And then very long term, in the months that follow that, 190 to 200, which is actually kind of crazy, man. Definitely the best chart that we've seen today. Very, very impressive. Cool. All right. Let's see. I think we have Truco Productions next. He says, Luna on the daily. It's like you read his mind, man. It's like you read his fucking mind like a goddamn wizard. Shekar says, morning, Krown. Good morning to you, man. OGN USD 4 daily weekly. Okay. This is something I'm not too familiar with. Origin Protocol. What could this highly esteemed piece of technology be? It's having a pretty damn good, or had a pretty damn good last week. I would be looking for a short-term pullback here to like 67.5 cents or so. Problem with things like this is, I guess you do have a weekly high or low here in comparison to your December lows. Man, that is that is a bizarre looking chart. I guess I give it the benefit of the doubt right now. I'm looking for a short-term pullback to 67, 68 cents. And probably bounce there, but here's what I'd say. This one starts to fall apart, and this is going to be your next lower high in a series of a few lower highs right here, and probably fall all the way back down. That would be if your weekly starts to close back down below about 57 cents. But for right now, just looking for a short-term pullback, I guess, and a bounce somewhere in the what was it, like upper 60s or lower 60s? No, upper 60s. Until then, it's actually, this is not bad. It's like not that bad, but I'm looking for a short-term pullback here. Pullback can even come as far as the upper 50 cent region as well. But you start to see any higher term time frame closure below that 55, 58 cent region, that's where I look at this as your next lower high, and very, very likely to come down hard, back down towards your lows of February actually. And until then, just short-term pullback, and I'd look for bounces around those regions. Hopefully that's helpful, man. Let's see. We have who do we have next? We have Pascal Jean. What's up, man? Krown, good day. Do small exchanges have higher risk for sniping on stop orders? I'm asking if small exchanges are more volatile on short-term timeframes. This is actually a really interesting question, because I don't think anyone's ever asked this, but in theory, yeah, it would be easier, right? Because a small exchange essentially implies that there's less people trading there, meaning that there's less people putting their orders into the order book. And well, if you're going to be putting your stop losses in there somewhere, obviously, where's my little thing over here? There it is. Then it would be theoretically easier for some sort of market sniper. Everyone's the fucking sniper, by the way. Everyone has fucking sniper in there now. I think I've run into like 10 crypto snipers. Like, what the actual fuck, man? Very original, sir. Anyways, for those stop loss snipers, if you will, it would theoretically be easier to do that, because if there's less orders in the order book, there's just less things to soak it up. But also on the other side, there's less people fucking trading there. So, it would theoretically take less money if you wanted to go and do that move. If you really knew that a bunch of stop losses were there and you wanted to go collect them, it would. It would be easier, but there's also, less people trading there at the same time as well. So it's, in theory, yes, I would say yes. Renee, what's up, Mr. Renee? Aussie dollar. Yeah. Hey, here we go. We got some Forex, some actual stuff, some actual currencies, some actual shit coins over here. Aussie dollar versus US dollar. Okay. And you're on a weekly. I see many signs for a bull trend, being very probable, is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, this is very interesting right here. This one is seemingly putting in a major, major low. Humongous volume on this low as well, and I imagine that we probably have, 1, 2, 3 drives of bullish divergence come off the low. Volatility is lifting off on those divergence momentum calls. Weekly Jewel got a pretty fucking good signal here late February, it looks like. And it's been up ever since. So would I be looking for, maybe a short-term pullback? Short-term pullbacks can very easily come down to like 73 cents even. That's not problematic. I'm actually quite bullish on this thing as long as you're above that region, 73 cents. Below 73 cents, I'd be looking for this one to come back down to 70.5 to 71 and come back to it after that, would make no further calls. But in this case, I'm just looking for maybe a short-term pullback and, next try up towards 75 cents. See what a monthly looks like. It sounds like you're on higher term timeframes. Yeah, the monthly says the same thing as well. A couple drives of hidden bullish divergence being constructed on this low. Obviously, we still have another, 10 days left? Yeah, 10 days left. So next Thursday is the last day of the month. And that will have a short-term target up towards, about 75 cents, a little bit above there, and then secondary target towards 77.5 cents. Not bad right there. Not bad right there. I'd agree with you, man. I'd agree with you. Contingent upon that area that we spoke about at, I believe, 73 cents is the big one for me. 73 cents. So probably just short-term pullback and then another try higher, man. Let's see. I think we have Rigel Johnston. Gala on the 4 and daily. I have no emotional attachment. Just want to know how deep into the dirt the shitcoin might go. Okay, so you want like the bear hopium? I can give you the bear hopium if you just want to know like worst case scenario. Worst case scenario for this one is back down towards 9-10 cents. Well, I mean, that's like worst case scenario before like the next major bounce. But for right now, here's the thing. Bitcoin's direction is pretty much going to decide whatever shitcoin you might be looking at direction as well, just in varying degrees of strength and weakness. And on this case, Gala, I would not say is among the strongest. It's a little bit on the weaker side, but not like a like a piece of shit, right? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. However, here's the thing. I wouldn't even really start to entertain like major downside targets, especially as long as you're above 21.5 cents. I don't really see any real major region to be concerned. But if you just want the bear hopium, I'd say that would be an obvious target down there, like 9.5 to 10 cents or so. To be quite honest with you, look, if Bitcoin's put in a low and Ethereum, then probably most other things are as well. And you could be looking at it right here as the weekly putting in a higher low, which is of course not confirmed just yet. Where would it be confirmed, thus saying that the worst case scenario is at least over for at least a long time, or maybe even for it, well, at least not worth talking about anymore. Daily closure above about 28 cents right here. That would confirm this as your next low, thus being a weekly higher low, and probably major targets up into the deep 40s, low 50s. But for right now, if you want the bear hopium, like what's like the worst, I don't think it's even worth being concerned over, as long as you're above about 21.5 cents, let's say. On a daily there. Below there is where things start to get very nasty, and I'd expect things to test back around your February lows, probably have another bounce there, and then trade lower in the following months. But for right now, I think there's actually some hopium there for you, which is cool, or hopefully cool. Anyways, let's see. Molotov. Did you know that the Finns came up with the word Molotov cocktail? Like, very clever Finns, man. Because apparently in World War II, I've studied this. Apparently in World War II, one of the Russian generals was named Molotov, and he was trying to invade Finland. And so they made him some drinks, as very, hospitable Finns would do. Elsa says, "Sir, nobody cares. You are so embarrassing, and I can't get married to you anymore." What the fuck is this? You're so fucking embarrassing. Molotov says, "Good morning, friend. Good morning, sir. Thoughts on Unibright UBT?" Okay, UBT. Let's see, on the hourly, 4-hour, and daily. Okay. This is a crypto. So this is not a real stock. This is a crypto that trades on Bittrex and HoneySwap. Fucking great, man. Fucking great. I really don't know which one's more worse to go to, Bittrex or HoneySwap. Bittrex has good enough history right here. Daily, I mean, this would be a great place for another lower high, to be honest with you. But it won't confirm a lower high here until you do come back down below about 135. 4 hours is not that bad. Very easily could put another drive of hidden bullish divergence if you do confirm another local low here. How'd you confirm another local low? I'd say at minimum need to see an hourly closure back above about 169. You do have some bullish divergence come off of the lower term timeframes like the hourly. What about the 4 hour? Or we just went to the 4 hour. Honestly, I'm looking for this one to try another short-term move to the upside. Very likely somewhere around about 163.5 to 164. The question is, does it get above, however, let's call it 169.5. If it can on an hourly, I would confirm this is your next local low, thus confirming hidden bullish divergence on the 4 hour, thus be getting another target up to 185, 190-ish region. But do keep in mind, that's contingent on a lot of things right now. Daily says that it's more likely to try maybe another short-term move to the upside, but very likely coming back down towards the mid 130s. And I'd be saying that, sorry, I think I got it wrong earlier as confirming this is a local high, thus be getting like major targets to the downside. I'd actually move that down to 1.25. So just short-term, like extremely short-term, probably looking for another try the upside. I actually do think it's going to probably get rejected there and then come back down somewhere around about 135 or so, and that's going to be the real test if it puts in a low there or not. So yeah, I think I'll just kind of leave it right there and pray below 125, because below 125 I'm looking for this one to just completely collapse and play out your next major lower high, your next major lower high. But for right now, just short-term pullback after maybe one more try to the upside. Weekly says up for what it's worth, which usually is quite a fair bit because it is a weekly after all. What about a 5-day? Yeah, 5 days okay here too. I think I'll just leave it right there. A chart that I'm honestly not too confident on. So I do think that it's important to kind of say that. BK says Shui USD. Okay, 1.4 in daily. SHUEY. Shui? Ethereum versus Shui. Oh fucking god. What the hell is this, man? BK, you know better. You know better, man. You know better than to bring this piece of fucking... Oh god. Motherfucker, man. This is the worst chart of the day. Look, on any sort of Bitcoin bounces, maybe looking at like 33 set. Oh, actually, wait, hold on. You're looking at Shui versus Ethereum. So that's actually pretty good, because if it's trending down and it's Ethereum versus Shui, then your Shui is actually doing all right. I guess it sounds amazing. But I would be looking for corrective targets somewhere around here at 341. What the fuck is that number? Is that 3,410,000? It is 300. It is 3,410,000. I think best it does the upside is like 4,750,000 or so. I don't know what the hell this thing is, man, but seems rather questionable. The name, usually you can tell by the name, Shui Ron Inu. Sounds legit. Duper says U.S. oil, WTI. Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. So you want to look at this? You want to look at this ticker here, or do you want to look at USO? 4 hour deal. I'm gonna guess it's this one. 4 hour. Let's see the daily first. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking higher. I'm looking higher. Maybe a short-term pullback though. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. I am looking for this one to test back up towards like 111 to 113 region. Does it do it exactly from here? I think it probably does. I don't know so much about the 4 hour, honestly. Might have another corrective move down to like 104-ish, but I'm very likely looking for this one to try another move up towards like $111, $113-ish region. That's going to be the next major area. If you do start to close 4 hour dildos above 114.5, I'd say that this one's going to very likely retest the highs. But for right now, I'm just looking for general continuation and then see what's up after that. But on the daily, another drive of hidden bullish divergence right here. Volatility is not where you really want to be in that situation for that to be like a major call to the upside. So that's why I'm saying kind of more conservative targets. And then daily jewel is, again, with BBWP this high, this is not going to be a great signal right there. So while it is technically turning around towards an upside signal, I would say I'm just looking for short-term upside continuation. And then I'd be using 114.5 as like it's like a resolution towards higher targets. Cool. Hey, what's up, Toby Wan? What's up, man? Current thoughts on Hex with impending Pulse Chain launch. I've been told that goddamn Pulse Chain is going to be launched for like the last half year, man. I'm still waiting for Pulse because I sacrificed to that thingy. Let's look at Hex, man. By the way, Toby, it's been a long time, man. Hopefully everything's all good with you, sir. Hex, not looking too hot, man. looking too hot. I do think it's going to try some upside from here, though. I do think it's going to try a rally, maybe somewhere around like 14.5, maybe as much as 16 cents. But I don't think I'm necessarily convinced that this is it just yet. But I do think that you try some upside from here. So yeah, coming off the monthly 21 as well. Very likely some upside from here. I think 14 to 14.5 cents is quite likely in the coming like week or two. Maybe a little bit more than that, whatever it ends up being. And then if things do start to trade higher than that and close like dailies above 14.5, let's say, I'd extend those targets up towards 18 or so. But other than that, I wouldn't say too much. I just think that you have another short-term upside move here, relevant for those higher time frames. I actually do think that you got a nice low in here for now. I'd really only invalidate that with another daily closure below, let's call it 11 cents. Below there, I look for this one to actually have the next catastrophic fall down to 7 or so cents, which is actually where I do think this one probably does find itself over a long enough term. But I mean, then again, like, I was speaking about these targets way back on over here at like 35 to 40 cents. I mean, we're pretty fucking close. I don't know. It's close enough in this case. Nah, I'd still stick to my guns. Short-term upside first, and we'll figure it out from there. That's what I kind of be relying on here. And then maybe we just briefly check it out over here. I'm just curious, like, what are the obvious signals we're looking at right now? It's weekly turning up. Weekly is actually not turning up, still nosediving there, but it's so beat up. It really is not going to take too much to get this one on a pity bounce. Yeah, the 5-day shows 11.5 cents. So I'm going to go with that, man. Short-term bounce. And then we come back to it later. Cool. All right, let's see. We have Steven Pitcher next, says EGLD weekly and daily. Okay, EGLD. Yeah, this one was super popular last year. This was like the influencer coin of the year or something. It's like everyone was fucking chilling this one. Okay, you're looking at a daily and a weekly, so generally higher time frames. Daily is right at the point of maximum opportunity for bearers, actually. However, just like a lot of the other things, I am seeing a lot of things kind of suggest upside continuations more likely than downside. You do have a bit of a higher low in place here compared to your January lows. So that is good, but just want to confirm this one above 168, or what is this, 168 and a half on a daily. And at that point, I'm looking for this one to put in big rallies somewhere around like 190 to 200-ish region. Weekly, same thing right here. Even had to drive a regular bullish divergence on that last weekly low, so I should technically be looking for a move up to that 190 region. Fair enough. And shit, any sort of a weekly closure above like, especially $200, I'd be extending big targets up towards your December your December areas, like 275 to 300, which is kind of a big deal. So I'd keep a keen eye on that. Again, major invalidations here below 150. At below 150, I'd confirm this is your next sort of complex high and come back down to like 135 to 130-ish region. Obviously that would look pretty ugly, but for right now, I think it has a chance. I think a lot of things in this market have a chance, but these are like at pivotal moments. Ryan Bolden says EGLD on our favorite time frames. Daily 4 hours started your TA program over the weekend. Good, sir. Hey, awesome, man. Very cool to hear. Very, very cool to hear. Yeah, we didn't cover the 4 hour just now, so we can go over that. 4 hour is kind of wedging itself into an ascending triangle, but I usually want to see like a more obvious secondary high or low, and we don't actually have that right now. It actually have the same continuation conditions as the daily that we just pointed out as well. Maybe ever so slightly higher. I'd say like 171 and a half instead of, what was it, 169 and a half or 168 and a half? It was 168 and a half. I was using for the daily right there. Until then, is there any obvious signals right here? Another drive of hidden bullish divergence, but this actually doesn't look too, that is not the response you want to see on a drive like that. So I actually think that this one probably pulls back a little bit short term here, maybe puts another drive towards like 159, 160-ish region. Honestly, though, the lower term timeframes are not as clear to me on this one as the higher term timeframes. The higher term timeframes are very, very obvious. So that's a road to really be running off of, which we just kind of went over. So hopefully that was that was more helpful in that case. Cool. All right, we got Robot Gang number 1. What's up, man? The number 1 D-bag. How you doing, man? It's been a long time. Another OG of this cave back from 2018. Fucking epic, man. Can you please take a look at Tesla on the daily and weekly? Sure. Hey, many blessings and prosperity to you as well, sir. Tesla. Okay, yeah. And you're looking at a daily and a weekly. Yeah, Tesla to me looks like it wants to try back up towards 940, 950-ish region. Weekly, really, really good low right there. Bullish engulfing dildo. massive hidden bullish evidence right there. Volatility is for now, is for now trying higher. Weekly Jewel has completely lost its downside signature. So, at minimum, you're looking for a pity bounce here. At maximum, you're looking for your next, major macro low, I guess. But I do think that this one tries up towards 940 to 950. That's the next sort of major area to be keeping an eye on. Any sort of a daily closure above 950, and I extend targets big time towards, 1,000 or above 1,000 actually. That'd also be the target for the hidden bullish evidence as well. So that would be quite significant weekly, or sorry, not weekly, but monthly. I need to ask about it, but maybe relevant towards your interest, is potentially going to put in a drive of hidden bullish evidence here if it does close, especially above that 940-ish region. So a lot of things hinged upon there. I should give an invalidation for this one as well. It's very, very easy on this chart, 850, anywhere below 850, and I'd be looking for this one to be unraveled again. But I'm looking for upside continuation, man. I love this signal right here. Daily BBWP expanding upon 50 percentile, and daily Jewel is getting like a pretty fucking good signal right there as well, similar to what you got in late February. Just want to see DMI support, but yeah, I'm looking for this one to try higher, and many drives of bullish evidence come off that last low. So yeah, I'd be going with that. Let's see. Just Jason says, hey, Krown, do you see AVAX trying for low 90s again near term? Obviously hoping to hold and try for a 98, 99 pullback. Okay. Do I see it coming back down to 90s, like low 90s? I think that's a question. Like, do I see it, or but hold on. Do you see AVAX trying for low 90s near again? Sorry, short term. Yeah, I do. Somewhere around 90 to 91, I think is rather likely on the 4 hour. Obviously hoping to hold and try for a 98, 99 before a pullback. So you're looking for a move to 98, 99 first before a pullback. I mean, you're probably gonna have a short-term pullback around your 91-ish region, I'd say. But I mean, I do think you're gonna try up there. If that's just a question right there, then that's my opinion on it. I really only look at this one as like a failed lower high again. It's not even a lower high, but a failed high below about $82. So, short term, I think gives another try up there. Probably does push back as well, but I'm not concerned about this one as long as you're above $80 or so. And even the 4 hour has another drive of hidden bullish divergence right here. Volatility is very low, so expansion off of that, should try somewhere around 90 to 91. And then if you do start to see closures above those regions, then I suppose I'd extend my targets towards I'd say like 96.5 or so. That's the big area for me, 96.5, not 98 to 99. Above 96.5, I look at this as probably a macro low in construction here, right? So you have the same highs right here. You have these rising lows right here. So you've got a reaccumulation. So resolution above about 96.5 very likely begets targets up towards 109, 110 region. Until then, I keep a keen eye on the $80 region. If I'm on the higher term timeframes here, like a lot of the other ones, I don't actually feel too confident on the lower term timeframes today. If anything, the 4 hours suggests one more try to the upside, but it doesn't really mean much to me other than that. Cool. Let me take another sippy sip of this. Okay, there we go. Jim Ross says, can you do USD versus the Mexican peso? I go down to Tijuana from San Diego for working girls and want to see if it's worth changing my currency. No problem, man. I can help you out with your prostitute goals in 2022. USD, what is Mexican? There we go. MXN. Okay, that's it. All right. I mean, over a long period of time, like the USD is crushing the peso. Actually, at this point, this is probably going to be a macro low here, down around about low 20s is what I'd be looking for. Maybe as low as like 1990 or so. I do think that this one comes a little bit lower, but long term, I'm looking for this trend to continue, man. So, I think that you're in the process of constructing like a major macro low right there. So this would be the time to be accumulating your dollars, just in my opinion, if you want to go, if you want to pay some prostitutes at like a discount rate. Other than that, this is a real world application of technical analysis. This is the most important one I've done all day. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, this would be the time to accumulate dollars. I would not be switching into pesos. You want to switch into pesos when you're back above like 23, $24, not right here, in my opinion. Or let's say this comes back down below $19. At that point as well, I'd say, hey, it's time to be a peso maximalist, I guess. It's gonna come down a lot more, or very likely to come down a lot more after that. But for right now, I think you're probably putting another macro low somewhere around like 20-ish, let's say. RM says, hello, sir, in all capitals. Hello, sir! Rune, 4-hour daily weekly. Sure, man. Remember, this one was like one of the better charts last week, right? Let's see how it is this week. Hey, finished the week finished the week very, very strong. Yeah, I'd still say among some of the best charts. And in fact, I'd even go as far as saying that this one very likely to try much higher here. In the coming weeks or months, probably up to 11.25, maybe even $14 if things get really crazy. Daily, where would I call continuation from here? Daily, I'd call continuation with the daily closure above 895. I think you got really fucking close right here, didn't you? Yeah, 881. It looks like closing basis. I'd probably be looking for more of a short-term range, to be quite honest with you. Short-term range on the 4-hour between about 775 and in that 920 or 915 to 920-ish high. Are you on a daily and weekly? Yeah, weekly I do think that you very likely get long-term continuation from here, but the question is, do you range a little bit on the short-term time frames and maybe try for another higher low at like 775 or maybe even down to like 760? I think that is actually kind of likely, but I'd just be looking for higher lows there and then another try higher. Something like that. Yeah, I don't think that you're ready to try some more upside like exactly from right now. When you see extremes like this on daily BBWP, I think it's a little more likely to trade sideways, at least. And then we'll come back to it maybe a little bit later. But another chart that I'm actually, I'm not too confident on the lower term timeframes here. The weekly is what I would be. Weekly, I'm looking at this as very likely to try higher in the following weeks, like 11, 14. Ish region, maybe even $14 long term. Not bad. And maybe we go check it out over here as well. Maybe there's some obvious that I'm missing. Feel like there is. Let's see, 5 days just fucking vertical above 360, so that's not a problem. Weekly vertical above 370, 337, so also not a problem. Daily curling down below about $9 or so. So yeah, I do think that you kind of grind out the highs right here on the short term time frames and then play at a bit of a pullback and then try for another move to the upside. After that. Cool. Crypto AROM says EWT in the weekly. Okay. All right. EWT. Okay. Energy Web Token on Kraken or okay. 4 hour looks good. Weekly. Yeah, putting a bit of a low right here. Actually, quite similar to the Hex chart, especially in the last few months. Maybe this chart over here is gonna be better. I do think that you try another move to the upside though. I do think it's a corrective move overall, but maybe over the next few weeks or next couple months around $7 or so, I think that would be like a reasonable target. Contingent upon a daily closure above about $5.8 in this case. Yeah, I'm generally looking for this one to try sideways and up from here. I'd really only invalidate that if you do see a daily closure below 517.5. Until then, I'm looking for most things to have pity bounces at the at the minimum here. Jason Whittleveen, Mr. Whittleveen, hey Krown, daily, weekly, monthly for Telos. What the fuck? Telos? Is this a thing? Do you mean Telos? This thing? I know this is a shitcoin. Definitely not that strong. Definitely not that great. Daily, weekly, monthly. Well, daily is, while most things are putting in at least short-term rallies here, this one's not. I'd actually be looking at this as another local high, as long as you're below 86.5, with, moves down to 77 cents again. Weekly, long-term. I'm not a fan of a lot of charts like that look like this, to be honest with you, but I do think that, look, this one's weird, man. This chart should not be looking like this, simply because most things in this market just look exactly like each other, and this one does not fit that bill. Maybe there's another chart. Maybe this one's like fucked up here or something. I don't know. Maybe Bybit. Maybe I'm not even looking at the right chart for you. This would be a completely different chart right here, and very likely trying some upside towards like 11.5 cents, maybe even as much as 12.25. Maybe this is what you mean. Or no, this is TLM. Okay, what the fuck is this thing, man? This one's gonna bother me for a while. This KuCoin, yeah, the same one right here. Yeah, if I'm just looking at this chart, man, it's certainly weak as all hell, and probably looking at another move down to 77.5 cents. I'd really only invalidate that and look for it to kind of trade with the rest of the market if you see a 4-hour closure back above about 86.5 cents with targets up towards low 90s or so. Weird one right here, though. I should kind of specify that, like very, very weird one right here, because it's not looking like any of the other ones. And also, I don't even know if this is the one that you're looking at, because you put a Z there and this one has an S, and what the fuck is this thing, man? I don't know. So yeah, probably might be the wrong one right here. I'm not so sure. Gemplay says, thoughts on Dash rally? Is it time for Moon? Dash, like fucking Dash, this thing from back in 2017. Oh my god, yeah, it is moving. That's a great fucking sign. Man, this is like the ultimate of shit coins. I remember when this thing went to 1700 years ago. Holy fuck. Yeah, I do think that it's trying some upside from here. Very likely to try at least like 127 to 130-ish region on the weekly. Does that do anything for this one? Yeah, 127 to 130 or so. I think is what it was. Yeah, 127.5 to 130. One in this case. Any sort of or where it actually confirm this is like a major low, I guess above 130, 140. But I mean, look, I do not trust Dash ever because of what I've seen in the past. But yeah, I do think they have some upside here. I think best to do to the upside in like a crazy market would be about 150. Until then, I do think that moves to the upside are more or less corrective over a long enough period of time. That's just personal opinion. Holy Dash, Batman. Yeah, exactly, Philson. Exactly, man. AK Makar says, Sol, 4-hour and daily. Sure. Okay, I think last one of the day. Phantasma. Yeah, definitely on the weaker side compared to most things. Yeah, there's your next look. Looks like this chart played out. I haven't looked at this one in a long fucking time, but there you go. Definitely on the weaker side, man. The strong ones are putting in rallies right now. I do think this one is going to try some upside from here. I do think it's going to probably try at least like back around 118.5 to 119. I wouldn't say that this one's done anything of particularly interesting on especially like a daily time frame. As long as you're below about 1.25. Above there, I do start to look for this one to put in some deeper rallies towards maybe even 140 to 145 region. But for right now, just a shitcoin chart, another shitcoin chart right here. I do think it's going to try a rally from here. I'd only invalidate short-term rallies if this one does fall back down below about $1.08. Until then, I think you're trying to put another higher low right here. It's a laggard, it's weak, and easier things to watch. Again, the thing that I could boil down pretty much all of the analyses from today is just relating those numbers to the ranges on Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin's above $40,000, I think that the Bulas have the ball in their favor, especially as long as Bitcoin's around 41. That is certainly a higher low right there, but I wouldn't necessarily call continuation on Bitcoin, and by extension, most other things in this market, as long as you're below about 42.6. That's kind of the big one for me right now. FTM short-term time frame. What does that mean to you, Bang Average Rider? What does that mean to you? Is that a 15-minute? Is that an hourly? Is that a daily? I don't fucking know. There's no way for me to know. Hourly, I'm gonna guess it's an hourly. I'd be looking for a continuation up to like $1.25 or so. Yeah, if that's short. I mean, short term to me is an hourly. Short term to some people is like a 5-minute or a 15-minute, which could kind of say the same thing. Probably try up towards like $1.25 or so. If I'm on a daily, ugly chart, at least for now. Yeah, probably looking at around $1.25 to $1.26 on very, very short term. Remember, this one was the one that had like, what's it called? They had a fundamental event, like the leader or their leader, their like main guy left or something like that. So I don't trust tentacles as much on something like this. But yeah, if you're just asking for short term, I do think it has maybe another short term try to the upside. Pretty much that's it. What's up, Dodgemon? Mr. Chris K, good morning to you as well, sir. Good morning to you as well. I think we're at the end of the stream here. An hour and 20 minutes into this. Man, I'll tell you what, with the caffeine, it just fucking keeps everything going, man. Just keeps everything going. I mean, it doesn't really matter to close them out. I don't think too many more people are interested right now, but I'm gonna sit here and chat for maybe like another couple of minutes, and And then we'll move it on from there. Shiba Inu sucks. Please do the chart. I love you, bro. I mean, I'm sure that it. I'm guessing it probably does still suck, but we can go look at it just out of curiosity, man. I haven't looked at this one in a long time. Yeah, it still looks like dog shit. You know, is it going to try another? Is it going to try a move to the upside from here? Probably yes. It's fucking weak though, man. And I would invalidate any sort of upside continuation below about 2200. But god damn, man. Let's see. What does a weekly look like? Yeah, like that. What does a 5-day look like? Also questionable, let's say. Cool. All right, let me take another sip of this. What's up, Crypto King? UPI is for saving the animals, please TA. All right, so we're gonna save the animals on the blockchain. Are they like animal NFTs or something? It's on Coinbase. Holy shit, man! Coinbase will list anything. They are such whores. Maybe Huobi has more history. Let's just see. I get maybe Coinbase. They're actually about the same. No time frames given. It does look like a higher low right here. I just want to see this one close above about 9.25 cents, and I'd be looking for this one to put in some deeper rallies towards 12, maybe even 13 cents. It's way too new here to really be giving any sort of legitimate analysis on. If you're asking my opinion on the very short-term time frames, I do think you're going to come back down first to about 7 cents. Probably try for a higher low there. Doesn't really do much for the other time frames. And, you know, as always with something this new, man, I really don't think that my analysis is like that relevant. But I do think short-term continuation of the pullback first, somewhere down around 7 cents, maybe even as low as like 6.7 cents, somewhere around there, and then try for a bounce. If it's gonna end up being bullish, that's kind of where you'd expect another higher low. All right, Philson, we'll do one for you. Axes, sure. All right, axes. Okay, axes. See where this one's at. Let's see. And what? God damn it, Philson, no time frames, but that's okay. I'm gonna guess we do have some hidden bullish evidence in construction here. I just want to see a closure here or higher on the 4 hour, and I'd be looking for a short term 51.40, and then probably continuation of $52. If I'm on the higher term time frames, like a weekly, let's say, you know, does this one also look like it's putting in a major potential low right here? You know, we got a few drafts of bullish evidence off the lows. Weekly jewel has switched to actually upside posturing, but not supported by DMI, and is coming on declining volatility as well. So I'm inclined to say that this one probably does try short-term upside, but I wouldn't really confirm this as like a major low, so to speak, until your closing daily dildos back up about 58.5. At that point, I do look for this one to put in some significant rallies into the 70s, 80s probably in the following weeks. Oh, fucking all right, man. Okay. It's fine for now. I can handle it. Fucking by the dip says Jasmy USD short term and long term. Any low or higher targets? Any low or higher targets? Jasmy. Hey man, all good, brother. Okay, so you're on a short term and a long term. I look like I fucking hate charts like this, man. I fucking hate charts like this. I despise charts like this. If I'm on a short term, like a 4 hour, I do think you're going to try another short term upside move towards 4 cents, somewhere around 4 to 4.30 cents. If I'm on a long term, there's not really a long term for this thing is the problem. I mean, this would be a great place for another lower high right here. So while I do think that you try another short term upside move, I do think it's probably going to end up being just that. I would not call any major upside continuation here. And I know this is not too helpful, but as long as you're below about 5 cents, I do think that short-term upside moves are likely to get stifled and come back down to like 2.25 cents or so, maybe even lower than that. I mean, this would be just a phenomenal place for a lower high. You know, look, you're coming off of extremes here on daily BBWP. Like, I don't think that you're continuing from here, except for maybe a short-term upside move. Okay, cool. Okay, wow, okay, that just exploded real fast. Let's see, typical anomaly, appreciate that, brother. SHIB on the daily, I think we just looked at it. Let's go, maybe Gemini, it's all gonna be the same shit over here. Again, I don't really look at this. Okay, we need more goddamn decimals on this piece of shit. You know, above what was it, 2,500. I do consider this a nice local low in place with targets up towards 28 first, and then probably up towards like 3,100 ish. And that starts to bleed into the higher term time frames, start to look pretty damn good. At the same time, I'd invalidate, or it's not that I'd invalidate because that's way far away from getting validated to begin with, but I'd validate this as your next lower high with targets back down towards 2100 to 2000 with any sort of a daily closure, basically below the low of today, 2220. Okay, close them, fucking close them. Sorry, but my voice is starting to get wrecked, man. I do appreciate it. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but my voice, like I'm feeling it. It's scratching the back of my in the back of my throat. It's like fuck. I don't know how much more I can handle. Peanut. I want some Elden Ring coin. Man, that game was just phenomenal. That was a phenomenal game. All right, cool. So we will read all of the super chats before this moment, but not after. Again, major appreciation for it, but man, my throat is. I think the coffee must help in some way. Anyways, okay, we got that one. Let's see. KNC, please, sir, says Google. Okay, KNC. Oh, oops, that's KNS. Is this Kyber Network Derp? It is Kyber Network Derp. No time frames given. This is good. Daily bearish divergence come off that last high. Weekly looks pretty fucking good. Look, I think that you might have a short-term pullback here, but this is very likely to retest your April highs. Yeah, maybe a short-term pullback. I'm not even that confident about that, to be honest with you. But if it does want to pull back, I'm looking somewhere around like 280 to 290-ish region. Daily and weekly are the ones that I'm very confident on, or especially the weekly. Short-term pullback maybe down to like 280-ish, let's say. But I would be looking for this one to give another try hard towards 380-ish, maybe even $4 plus. In the following weeks, after a bit of a pullback first, like rather impressive chart here. I'd only invalidate weekly bullishness with a daily closure below about $2.50. So until then, short-term pullbacks likely be get another try higher. Subscription says Pax G weekly. Okay, this is Pax Gold, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll go over here. You're looking at a weekly. Gotcha. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Let's go to a daily as well. I do think that you're going to try another rally from here, but does that matter for the weekly? Back up to like 1980 to 1980-ish region maybe. Yeah, I do think you're going to try a little bit of a rally here, but I don't think that this one's ready to like bust or anything like that to the upside until you basically start to close dailies above about 1990. What is this? Sorry, make that 2000. Make that 2000 or a weekly above 1990. Until then, probably looking at something like that. I am a little bit stumped on the daily here though, because I'm seeing conditions that would be significant for a local low with these extremes on BBWP. And momentum also is generally looking ready for a reprieve, but I'm inclined to say that likely does get rejected and you come back down first, somewhere around low 1900, and then try your move higher, maybe more long term. Spot him. You got him, man. Fucking buy the dip, man. You got him, you bastard. Oh dear Lord, man. Much love to you, sir, and your linkies, man. Where are your linkies, actually? I just need to know for my own knowledge now. It's like my own curiosity is getting the best of me. Yeah, probably it's a local low in here, at least for the short term. Eric is lucky to have Elsa. It's true, I'm lucky, but sometimes it's like, what the fuck is this? Anyways. Elsa had like the most uncontrollable laughter the other night because we were watching Bill Burr, who's this comedian, and he was doing this joke. He's like, he was making fun of other people who make fun of jokes or who make jokes about like race that are like that are like the most cliche thing ever, where it's like, and then the white guy says, oh wow, looks like I need to do my taxes right now, and she like just couldn't fucking stop. It's like, what the hell? What just happened right there? All right, let's see. Felicia says UMA. Okay, another new one for me. UMA. All right, it's on Bitstamp. Can't be that bad. Daily and weekly. Okay, weekly is very interesting right there. Daily. Okay, this thing I'm guessing does not trade at all. Yeah, it does not trade. Has like on a daily for the volume, the volume gets up to like 3,000 of like 4,000 on a fucking $7.50 number. This thing does not trade. I do, however, think that it is putting in a little bit of a low right here. I would confirm that as a major low above 880 on a weekly, maybe even a daily as well. No, on a daily, I'd say about $10. And that's going to have major targets up towards 13.5 to 16. Jesus Christ. I would invalidate this as a potential major low and, targets back down towards your February lows with any sort of a daily closure below about 685, 690-ish region. Other than that, I really try hard not to have strong opinions about the charts that one are this new and two look like this, which I'm usually not a big fan of, but the weekly does have a few things going for it right there. Basically what I'm running this off of is this your reversal with your higher low in place right here? If it is, you'd expect a closure and confirmation above those levels that we spoke about. Other than that, it would just be another lower high. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right there. Hey, what's up, Crypto King? All good, man. UPI. Okay, UPI. Okay. And I'm guessing it's this thingy, not the Universal PropTech or PropTech, whatever the hell that is. Maybe on Huobi. And you're looking at no time frames given. Did we look at this one earlier? This looks extremely similar to another chart. I'm looking for a short-term pullback here. Very, very likely 7.2 cents. Maybe a short-term bounce there, but I wouldn't be even surprised to see this one come down to 6.8 cents or so. But that doesn't necessarily make me bearish on the daily. However, there is a potential major setup on the daily. Jesus, and the weekly, but again, it's just way too new, man. I would validate major upside continuation with the daily closure above about 920, with targets up towards your highs of March on a wick basis, almost 12 cents or so. And I don't know where from there, man. And I would validate major downside with a 4 hour even below about 640. But until then, just short-term pullbacks, and I'd be looking for a bounce after that, and then pray for the boo laws on the bounce. Let's see, BK Rune USD. I think we got that one. Didn't we do that one? Rune? I think it was one of the better ones. Yeah, we did do Rune. I'm generally looking for this does not look like it wants to pull back here. I'm inclined to say I'm looking for a pullback here just based off of extremely high volatility. And momentum also is looking like they could use a bit of a reprieve, but maybe I'm just wrong about that. It's actually showing a lot of strength right here. The weekly is what I feel a lot more confident on. I do think that this one's going to test up towards $11 plus, maybe even $14 in the following weeks, maybe months or so. I'd only invalidate that below $7 too. So maybe a short-term pullback. I don't feel too confident there. I do feel quite confident on this, however. Pretty fucking good. Let's see. Okay, last one of the day. Sean Waller says, I love my bitches and your TA. Respect, bro. Hey, thank you for that nice positive message, man. All right. I think that's going to do it for today. Man, my throat is wrecked. Alrighty, sirs and zers. I think that is it. I will post up the analysis for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Luna later. I want to say thank you for coming on out. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Some good fun times. We're not doing good on the likes anymore, but that's okay, man. We can expect slow and lowliness as the market slows down itself. But keep all of those regions in mind because I do think that a lot of things are essentially getting going here, not necessarily today, but probably around the end of this month here. So hopefully that was in some way helpful, and I'll be signing off now. Take care and see you hopefully soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate, pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, lend it, send it, swell it, sell it, flip, unflip it, see it, watch it, learn it.